Welcome to What's Up? I'm Michael Clish. We're again broadcasting from the Good to Go restaurant in Fort Atkinson, downtown. They are open for dine-in and delivery, open at 10:30 in the morning. My guest today is the only candidate for a single open seat on the Fort Atkinson School District Board of Education, Rhona Buchta. Thank you very much for joining us, Rhona.
Thank you for having me.
A little bit about yourself.
Sure. I have been part of the Fort Atkinson community for the past 40 years. I have 3 children. My oldest daughter is a senior in college. My middle is practicing her trade in cosmetology, and my youngest son is a junior in high school. Both my husband and myself are Fort alumni and have graduated here. We both commuted to UW-Whitewater and have, I guess, literally resided in Fort Atkinson for all these 40 years, raising our children here.
And you're a teacher at the Fort Atkinson Middle School. What has the last year been like?
I actually teach at a private school, and I teach 6th, 7th, and 8th literature and language arts. What it's looked like, I've actually have had the blessing to be able to teach in person. So we started in person, we're still currently in person. There have been a couple of times we did have to switch virtually, but I feel like our students have really done well to persevere. It's not easy. I would say that I'm a better in-person teacher than I am virtually. Really hard to kind of get the engagement from my students through screen. I feel like that relationship you have with your students is much better within a classroom.
I'm sorry, you teach at a private school.
I do.
And the last year, of course, unprecedented in history of the world, you might say.
Yeah.
What's it been like for a teacher?
It's really kind of taught me to stretch a little. I always like technology. I always like having my students to kind of dabble in it and understand that you don't just press a button and things just magically happen, and that you really have to kind of look around and utilize the tools so that they can use it for other assignments and things of that nature. So it's really allowed me to be able to give them resources and tools that I had not offered prior. So I think the only thing that would be the most challenging is the short amount of time that we were given. A lot of great things come out of it. I can now record my lessons for my students. My students have all the tools that they need digitally if they were to be absent. But it was just, not everything's perfect, and technology has a tendency to not always be kind, and sometimes we just have snafus, but we work through it.
What do you see as the most pressing issues facing the school district or just education in general?
I think right now the most important thing, education in general, and quite possibly our own community, is just allowing us to have a community to work together again, to understand that the focus on education is not necessarily the building itself, but the learning process that goes into it. And to have communications on how we can teach our children, and that learning is not just in one contextual area, and that it goes beyond that we can learn in a variety of ways, and that they can learn themselves with so many different tools.
Things will be changing. They've been changing rapidly sometimes.
Sometimes.
What do you see as maybe the biggest issue?
In regard to change?
Yeah.
I think right now keeping up with technology and access. I think that our families and our students, as well as all of us, trying to keep up with everything and being consistent with our technology, having everyone be able to work through all these little glitches. I think that's the largest challenge moving forward for us teachers.
And of course, COVID-19 Things are changing for the better, but not all for the better. Where do you see the school district going in the next year?
I think that going is more moving forward. I think that there's a misunderstanding that we've gone backwards. Learning doesn't regress, it actually maintains, and we can only go forward. And so I see our school system taking the tools that they've learned, the tools that they've kind of integrated within the education, and moving forward with it, and having our kids, almost have a lot of opportunities to have access to education.
And why do you want to be on the Fort Atkinson Board of Education?
Yeah, that seems to be the...
A pretty thankless job.
That's what they say. There's no... I think the best answer for myself is I want to be able to learn. I want to be able to learn. I've always been involved in education. My students are very important to me. I think that their ability to be citizens, participating citizens, is very important. And if I wanted to teach them that, I need to be part of it as well. I'm pretty green in this political arena. I guess I kind of take it as an opportunity for me to get involved and learn as well about how all of these parts work together. And so I guess long and short of it is just being part of the community.
Do you see something that you feel needs to be done?
Well, I don't think we can focus on just one thing. I think what needs to be done...
Answer that one any way you want.
I think the focus right now is just a little bit of finding ourselves more settled. I think we're in a lot of different ways to how do we get education, how do we have access, how do we move forward with our teachers. I think that if we can focus on some consistency and continuity for everyone involved, I think it's going to give a lot of families, teachers, students some security and comfort in their learning and moving forward.
And you're running alone. You will be on the school board.
That's my understanding, but
Unless you come to your senses.
No, I'm excited for it. I never say anything for sure until it comes to pass, so we'll wait till April 6th for that to be confirmed.
All right. I want to thank you very much for joining us.
Thank you for having me.
Any parting words before we...
Well, I hope that I can benefit the community, the school board, and I am always open to different perspectives and opportunity and understanding, and I hope that that it'll be a good 3 years.
I think you might bring something to the school board they don't currently have.
I hope so.
All right. Rhona, again, thank you for joining us. Good luck
Thank you.
in the election, although it looks pretty good for you. Rhona Buchta, you've been listening to What's Up? This is Michael Clish.